Yeah, it's working. Thank you so much, Mansoor, for letting me sharing the presentation here. Thank you so much for everyone to join this session today. Though it's a short session, let us quickly discuss some ideas which we want to share with you guys. And thank you so much for joining short webinar today. As you can see that, Mansoor, can you present my presentation? Display my
Okay.
presentation, please.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yes, you
Am
are
I
audible.
audible? Thank you.
Just give me a minute.
Yes, Mansoor.
Hey, just
Sure.
give me a minute.
So as we have gathered here to share some ideas, of course, it's an interactive section. We will love to hear something about this topic from you guys as well. And the topic is for today is the SOD. You know the term SOD. It's related to segregation of duty. So anyone can share the ideas in the end of the session. If you have some other ideas about the SOD matrix, what is the importance, we are all going to discuss and we are all going to have some deliberation on the topic here in this webinar today. So let us quickly have a view of presentation. Let me start my session here. Yeah. Yes, today's topic is segregation of duty, and this is my brief introduction. I am Abid Wajir Rizvi. I have more than 15 plus years of exposure in the industry, banking industry, telecommunication, audit firms. So my current domain is related to IT GRC. I have recently joined Bank Islami as head IT GRC, and I'm serving here for strengthen the control environment of the technology environment, the technology practices, postures, procedures. So this is a crucial area in the banking sector that the technology as a IT function is the facilitator. So the practices, the operations should be streamlined in accordance with the guidelines, standard practices, and regulatory requirements. So moving forward, let's start with the introduction of SOD. So today's session is the importance of SOD and its implementation challenges. As we are talking about the banking sector right now, so implementing the SOD matrix comes up with the great challenges. We all going to have some brief ideas about this topic here in this presentation. And as far as the SOD itself is concerned, so I will definitely share some ideas about the definition of SOD, what is SOD is all about, and why we need SOD implementation in the corporate environment. Corporate environment can be from the banking sector, it can be any industry where financials are managing, processing. So segregation is must as an internal control. Moving forward with the presentation slide, the next slide is presenting that segregation of duty, why SOD is important, and what is SOD is all about. So if we just share the brief idea about if we share the brief example of the SOD, that segregating the duty among different people. If you are talking about financial transactions, you can examine and you can relate that particular instant that if banking sector is operating its financial applications, financial core applications, and you are dealing with some financial activities, financial transactions. You need to specifically highlight that what are the checking points, what are the control spectrum to examine that every transaction is going in accordance with the regulatory guidelines and in a controlled way. So the overall idea is to avoid any errors, to avoid any fraudulent activities, to avoid any operational impact that can ultimately result in the form of financial or reputational loss. So dividing any activity, any particular transaction into multiple people to serve the particular transaction is a topic of implementing SOD, segregation of duty. So, as we can see this the presentation slide, that why is the SQ is important in banking. Trust and security are in top priority. Segregation of duty is fundamental internal control mechanism that helps prevent fraud, errors, and unauthorized access transactions. The core idea is simple: no single individual should have end-to-end control over the critical transactions, right? As I have told you earlier, that this is just a part of segregating the activity among different people to ensure that there are no errors, to ensure that there are no malicious activities, to ensure that there are not fraudulent activities, to prevent the financial or reputational law. Moving forward, in the next slide, yes, these are the key objectives. As I've mentioned earlier, that these are the key objectives which we can achieve from implementing the SOD matrix in the banking sector or any other infrastructure, to have to achieve fraud prevention, to achieve error detection and mitigations, to achieve regulatory guidelines, to achieve operational efficiency and risk management. All activities are come up with the single idea that to ensure the processes are well examined, well assessed, well authorized before commenting any financial or impact. So the bank sector is allowing the financials to the customer, that customer is able to process their financial activities in a controlled way, so that all the transactions which are being committed by the banking staff should be well controlled and well governed in a manner. So this presentation is a self-explanatory exercise that everyone can easily relate, that they are regulatory guidelines. They are, as here in Pakistan, we have the regulator, which is State Bank of Pakistan, has a very tough and very stringent requirements around the segregation of duties, that operations should be well examined and well controlled in a way. So these are the objectives which we are seeing right now in the presentation. So as far as the other slide is concerned, please move forward. Let me just share a quick idea about the implementation challenges. In the next slide, we can see the implementation challenges in the SOD. So as you can see that these are the some bullet points. There are a lot of other challenges. I've tried to put some key essential areas of challenges. Uh, I, yeah. So one of the key challenge is the resource constraint, that if you are targeting to segregate a single activity into multiple people, you need to have a specific headcount to operate, to process those transactions. If you don't have the couple of ample of resources in your team, you cannot implement the SOD matrix accordingly effectively, right? So resource constraint is the key factor in the as a challenging factor for implementing the SOD matrix in the corporate domain, in the domain of banking industry, because this require ample of headcounts to process the transaction. The instance of change, again, this is a chain and this is a control environment. Also, everyone is not really welcoming that control gesture to operate the transaction in the form of totally compliant or governed way. That if I am able to process a transaction individually by myself, it will take it will take a lesser time as we compare the same transaction is gone through multiple people. So it will take, of course, it will consume a lot of time to examine or to process a single transaction. So it's a change that is not welcomed by the bank staff. That I'm okay. I'm trying to process the transaction. I'm able to process the transaction by my own. I will input. I will process, and I will authorize the transaction. What is the problem? So operational aspect is a key, that the governing body should emphasize that this is the important of segregation that needs to be implemented, to ensure that there are no errors, there are no frauds, there are no malicious activities, to ensure that the overall operation is secure. So this is the way of this. This second point is also the one of the key factor where changes are not more welcomed by the bank staff, that the segregation should not be there. I should be able to examine the entire process by my own. The third point I'm referring here is technological limitation. Yes, this is a very big factor we are facing in the banking sector and in any other sector where we are dealing with legacy applications. Suppose if we are talking about the core application, core banking application, where we are talking about some legacy application that is built in by the in-house developer team. They are managing their financial by the in-house developed application, which has lesser capabilities to implement the internal controls, which can be termed as automated controls, that will make another challenge for implementing SOD, because the application has no capability to enforce to implement the automated controls to ensure segregation among different people. The last point I'm referring here is the role conflict. Again, conflicting role is the key factor, which is one of the major challenge in implementing the SOD. Because if you don't have the defined job description of your employee, that particular SOD matrix cannot be developed, because there must be some basis of implementing those segregation, which should be in accordance with the job description. And if there is no defined or concise job description of the employee, the implementer or the assessor cannot implement the effective SOD matrix to further implement into operational environment. So again, this is the point we are talking about the job description. So if you have some other idea about the challenges, you can share it right now by raising your hand. Or I have deliberately not mentioned a challenge here, which as a assessor, as an auditor, I have been facing, especially in banking sector, where the implementation of SOD matrix is a challenge, a big huge challenge, because if you are talking about the application, if you are talking about the platforms where subject matter expert like vendors or in-house developer has not developed the overall exposure of the application behavior, what modules are there, what set of exposure you are restricting to user profile. If there is no comprehensive definition of user profile, that what profile can access what, then you cannot implement the SOD matrix accordingly, because you don't know the application behavior, you don't know the application exposure, that at how many levels a user can be restricted, at how many levels a user can be exposed of, right? So user profile is the key for implementing the SOD, because in the application layer, you are controlling your access through user profiles. And user profiles are, if user profiles are not comprehensive, not well governed, not examined by the subject matter expert, that what level of privileges should be given to the user to given restricted access to a platform, then you cannot implement the SOD matrix accordingly, right? So this is the challenge which I deliberately not present in the slide. I wanted to share it with you and have some ideas from you guys. So if the time allows us, so we will discuss in a short way. So these are the few recommendation in the last slide of my presentation, that we can enforce we can put some ideas about the clear policy and framework about the SODs, automation of technology, right? You adopt the latest technology, you adopt the technology which has some capabilities to implement a reasonable set of SODs in the as in automated controls. Uh, you should emphasize on the regular audits and monitoring, so that third party an independent party may assess the overall process and procedures to ensure that to highlight some business labs to process labs to address the risk related to SOD matters. Employee awareness and training is a key factor, because employees should be well aware, should be well trained about the business processes, about the business process risks. That if something goes wrong, what should be executed, what should be happen. Employee testing, employee training, and awareness is a key factor to implement SODs and to emphasize the SOD requirements. And the last but not least, flexible yet secure approach, because strike a balance between operational efficiency and robust control mechanism. Again, implementing a set of controls which can ultimately hamper the overall operational processes efficiency, because if you are implementing multiple checks and balance in the process of operations, you can ultimately impact the operational impact, result in operational impact, because a process can be executed in a single way, in a single line, and you are implementing some multiple checks and balance. So ultimately, the management would not like to have those restrictions in the operational activities. So there's a need to well examine the operational requirement and the processes and business efficiencies to ensure that we are adding some reasonable, some checks and balance about the processes, so that we should not hamper the operational activities in the event of creating a robust, secure environment. So flexibility should be there to ensure that operational activities are well governed, well operation, and without hampering any, and controls are implemented without hampering the operational need. So this is my presentation about the SOD. Any question from you guys? I can answer. I will try my best to answer the questions. Thank you for your appreciation. Any question from you guys?
Thanks a lot, Abid. You have presented a very good presentation, and in the interest of time, we can answer their questions while we post this video to different platforms. Thank you very much. We will try to continue our presentation where we had left with Aziz. Just give me a
Thank you.
minute. Aziz, can you share your screen?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, please share.
Welcome back, Aziz. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
very much.
joining.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Okay, let me share my screen. Just a sec. Windows. This one. Share into screen. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we want to talk about breaking into IT Audit GRC, why it is more than just having certifications, what set apart the top 10% from the rest. So like I said, my name is Aziz Hassan. I'm a certified information security manager, certified information security auditor. I'm a chartered accountant, both ACCA and also UAECA. With over 15 years of experience in IT audit, and I presently work with PwC as an IT risk assurance manager, which is the same as an IT auditor. I'm an IT audit manager at the moment. So if we look in the recent past, there have been surge in certifications. A lot of people are having certifications. In fact, after I made this post on LinkedIn, I cannot count the number of people that came to me with, oh, I have these certifications, but I'm not able to get a job. I have so and so certifications, I'm not able to get a job. So people are not able to land IT audits or GRC roles. And why we are here is, we are here today to understand why. Why are they not able to get a role? So if you look, you will see that certifications are basically just there to validate, foundational knowledge that someone has. It does enhance credibility. It shows that you have invested time into getting your knowledge acknowledged by a certifying body. It signifies commitment to learning, which is good, because in the tech world, continuous learning is the key skills one must have. You must be able to learn, unlearn, relearn. So like someone said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be someone that cannot read. It will be someone that is not ready to learn unlearn and also relearn. So despite having certification, it still does not prove you have the job readiness skills that recruiters or companies are looking for. So if you look at, you know, the gap we have in the world, if you look at certifications, you will see that certifications are basically focused on, theories, while in the real job world, people want someone that has practical skills. So, for example, CRIS certification is focused on information security risks, risk framework. It will highlight the risk frameworks to you. It will highlight sometimes, yeah, maybe the steps to, accessing a risk or theories of how to manage a risk. But in the real world, we want someone that's able to see a risk and come up with controls, solutions, and things that we can use to mitigate those risks. Someone that can build a risk register from the scratch, someone that can take up a risk register and run with it basically. So if you look at certifications, you will see a lot of definitions, you know, whereas in the real world, we want someone that has that investigative mindset, being having that professional skepticism, being able to question business process, ask the right questions. Why is this so? You know, test systems. Being able to conduct real auditing. If you look at certifications, it talks more on the process walkthroughs, whereas for an IT audit role, we need someone that is a professional in testing controls. You must be able to test controls. You must be able to test controls. As I am now, even if there's a control that is mentioned to me that I don't know of before now, I can still come up with a testing approach to testing that control. Let me give you a typical example. If someone is asking me to test the backup process within an entity, I know at the back of my mind that the first thing I'm going to be asking for is, do you have a backup policy? A management approved procedure that is documented, approved by management, that states out how backup should be done at the particular entity that I'm auditing. Aside from looking at, then I will now go in and start checking what is done in practice. That is how to test controls. It has some other things, but let's just stop there. So you see that in most certification, there are more of theoretical auditing. They will highlight auditing, how reporting looks like, whereas you need to have practical audit knowledge, how to execute an audit, how to start from planning to execution to documenting your findings, working through with your work papers, how to go back and also, do sample testing and the likes. So we know that certifications most times are basically just there to point us to things, learn something, cram some knowledge, and just regurgitate what you have learned to pass an exam. And I did not add this to my slide, but like I would say to most people, I say to my own personal mentees that most certification bodies are not really after the certification. They are after what you are going to be paying annually as your annual dues. That's what they are after. That's where the money is. So that is, if you get certified by ISACA, you have CISA, you have CISM, you have CRIX. For all of those certifications, there is an amount of money that you pay every year to maintain those certifications. So sometimes it just doesn't make too much sense. Do you understand? So what are the core competencies that we need to succeed as an IT auditor? What are the core competencies? So to look at this, I'll probably just say, let's go away from here. I've stopped sharing. I've stopped sharing my screen. Guys, just hold on. I want to share something else. So let's go on LinkedIn. Let's go on LinkedIn. Let's check what recruiters are looking for. Do you understand? Let's go on LinkedIn and let's check what recruiters are looking for. So let me go back and share again. So if you go on LinkedIn, let's just do a simple search and say IT. Okay, let's just do auditor. We're looking for an auditor role. Oh, sorry. Please confirm that you can see my screen, please.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you. So let's just look for an IT audit role. Let's look for an IT audit role. Let's go to jobs. Okay. Sorry. So let's say, let's pick any country we want to be. Let's pick United States. Let's just pick any country. Let's just pick United States, for example. You know, IT audit. I'm not looking for a manager role. So here's an IT audit role, technical risks IT auditor. If you come and look at the skills that are required, hmm? See, if you come to this, say, you see that you must have subject matter knowledge of IT general controls. IT general controls, they relate to what? Financial reporting process, working with client engagement teams, Basically, you can see IT general controls. These are the core skills you need to have. Also, you see, again, it's coming here, conduct ITGCs, IT application controls. Be able to conduct risk assessment, build a budget. If you're doing an IT audit, if you're a senior in an IT audit, you'll be required to do your team's budget. Ability to build that budget, work within timelines, time management, ability to communicate your findings to management. You can see that if you look at the skills, you will see that they are different. So let's go to a typical, let's do a Google search and see what CISA domains are. Let's look at what CISA domains are. A list of CISA domains. You will not find ITGCs in CISA domains. You will not find IT general controls in CISA domain. You will not see those skills that you actually need to get a job. You won't see it. So if you look at this, you see information system audit process. It's just the process. It's not the actual execution. It will highlight the process to you. You have to come the process and know the process, which is fine. But you need more than this to find a job. You talk about governance and management, system acquisition development, which are just theoretical knowledge. System operations and business, I think business process are there about then protecting information assets. So if you look at the domain and you look at the job descriptions, you'll see that they are not the same. So that's why I will tell someone, don't focus too much on certification. Learn what an IT auditor does. Those are the key things that you need to know. Learn what an IT auditor does. So let's go back to the slide. Let's continue. So if you see, these are some of the skills that you need. Risk thinking, hands-on tech exposure, having basic knowledge about network, the OCI model, Active Directory, the cloud computing system, just basic knowledge of system, what application is used for, what are those key what are those key systems you will find in an IT environment. For example, you will find an application, you will find a database, you will find the network, you'll probably find sometimes operating system. There are servers. Know what these things are used for. Those are the key skills that you need to have. Then also have that audit execution knowledge, interviewing skills. Do you understand? Interviewing skills. So I'm going to ask the question. So if I ask you, if I say, I'm going to ask two questions. I need someone to tell me what is the difference between those two questions. So for example, let's stick to backup. So I want to do an audit for an entity. I'm asking Masood is the process owner, the control operator. I'm asking you, Mr. Masood, do you do backup? My first question is, do you do backup? I'm interviewing somebody else and I'm asking you, can you walk me through your backup process? Those two questions, I'm asking about backup, but those two questions are different. Do you agree?
Both the questions are same. You are asking first, do you have backup? Means
Yeah.
there is a process.
No. If I ask you, do you have backup? The answer is going to be yes or no.
Yes, it should be yes.
Yeah, it will be yes or no. But if I ask you and say, can you walk me through your backup process? It's not a yes and no question. Now you're going to start from everything you do to ensure you do backup.
Yeah, there is a process how you are doing.
So there are two different things. So that's why you must have those skills, interviewing skills. We don't ask a yes or no questions when you're doing auditing. We ask open-ended questions that will make the control operators to talk. walk you through what they do. You document those things. You also need to learn how to document from your interviewing. You need to then learn how to document what you are hearing and also compare to what you have in the policy. You must also have the ability to test controls, control testing, become experts in control testing, and also sampling. Sampling, when you audit, you'll be, we don't, audit is not, or audit does not give absolute assurance. Audit gives reasonable assurance. This is the reason why we don't audit everything. When there are controls, there are populations, we'll pick samples. You must be able to learn what samples to pick. Oh, okay. You learn what samples to pick. Then you have the communication skills. Then also curiosity. You must be able to learn all the time. So these are pathways you can use to get job. So I'll probably say maybe start from IT support. With IT support, you understand the whole IT infrastructure and what each infrastructure does. You can easily transition from IT support to an IT audit role. It is easier. You know, maybe if you are working on an internal audit function, you can easily transfer from an internal audit role to a GRC role or to an IT audit role. So from these roles, SOC analysts, or you can, you know, volunteer. Volunteer, you work in an organization that have an IT audit unit. Go to whoever is the head of IT and tell them, I want to shadow what your IT auditor does. I want to learn about IT audit. I'm curious about it. Can I volunteer to be what we call a guest auditor? So I had one of my mentees that did this, was a guest auditor for an audit period. And within a few months, he was moved to the GRC department. And now he's an IT auditor working for another organization. So volunteering is also another way to get you into a role. So these are practical examples. I used to know someone, Aramide, who did sometimes also by taking practical hands-on training. People who are IT auditors who conduct trainings, they will be your mentors. They will tell you what IT auditor does, how they do it, why they do it. So from there, you learn controls. Then after you get a job, you can now go for your certification like CISA. I've seen someone, example is Tolu, who was a tech support person, IT support, learned controls, and also got a job, became CISA certified afterwards. So there are no skills that you cannot bring in. Like I said, you can do internship in your IT audit function, shadow real work, or if you have friends that are IT auditors, spend time with them over the weekend. Ask them to show you what they do, how they do it, why they do it. You understand the day-to-day of an IT auditor. Once you have that, then you can build those skills. But you also need to have experience, with some frameworks, NIST, ISO, PCI DSS, CIS, critical security controls, cloud control methods, and the like. So understand this framework, download these frameworks. They're always available online. You can download the Excel folder and use the dummy company to start doing, gap analysis or gap assessment. You can volunteer, join GRC community, for me, the easiest part would be get someone that is an IT auditor that you can shadow or that you can learn from. So these are just skills or 2 skills that you can use to work. For rigs, you can use a normal Excel to build a rigs register. You can use logic gate and the likes. For auditing, learning to use work paper, you can learn for audit board. All of these things you can learn from YouTube. Go on YouTube, pick some of these things and just learn them. Have those skills. Tech skills, maybe Excel, Splunk is not necessary for an IT auditor anyway. But if you're looking for certification, like I said, the must-have is CISA, or you can start with ISO 27001, lead auditor, lead auditor, or maybe lead implementer. Then look for companies that want to implement ISO, then help them in implementing. You can set up a profile on Upwork and do some of this, remote working to help companies achieve this certification. And you can also learn from training, Cybersecurity, Coursera, Udemy, and the likes. From the hiring manager, what do I look out for if I want to hire someone? I want someone that understands risks and controls. I want someone that has experience with writing an audit report. I want someone that has good attitude to work, teamwork, being able to work with teams, being able to manage pressure, being able to multitask, being able to have good time management skills, and also someone that is willing to learn. Someone that has potentials, not just certification. So like I said, certification is a launch pad, not a landing pad in most case. So don't just learn to pass an exam, learn to perform the work of an IT auditor. So you can start, you can always start today, ask questions from IT auditors, and I'm also be open. You can follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Aziz Hassan on LinkedIn. Follow me, and if you have any questions, I will definitely respond to it. Any question at this point?
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Aziz, for sharing us this valuable information. And it is, we understand that critical to understand the importance of experience and certifications.
I'm still here. Go ahead.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Aziz and Abid. We truly appreciate your taking part in this event and sharing your knowledge. And thank you for coming today, dear audience. There will be more sessions like this in future. So please make sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we are open to questions. If somebody have any questions, they can raise their hand.
Yeah, if I willing to join any uh, volunteer, voluntary, how can and where I can approach?
Aziz, this question pertains to you.
Okay, so I would say if you're working somewhere, start from there. If you have an IT audit department where you are working, go to whoever is the head and tell the person, I would like to spend time with you guys. I would like to volunteer to learn. I have interest in IT auditing. Can you just allow me to shadow what you do or volunteer to help you with some of the process that you are doing, maybe documenting what you're doing? Because most times they will probably just teach you or still teach you. So in my firms, we have people who are graduates who come from chemical engineering, from different science background, and they'll come around, and after a while you train them. Everybody can be trained. So that's what I feel. So wherever you're working, that is the first point of call, to volunteer to work.
Munawar, I can add this question, your answer to question, that get a good mentor first of all.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Or we should end up this session? I take this as no. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for joining
Thank
us.
you, Master. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. We
Thank
will
you.
be
Thank
sharing
you.
this
Thank you
event
so
in
much.
our uh, social channels. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Sure. Thank you.